Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome back to another First Impressions video for Civilization 6 Gathering Storm. Today we're going to be taking a look at Sweden, which is a returning civilization from Civilization 5, and they have some similar bonuses from Civilization 5 that we're going to take a look at, but also some new ones and a new direction with their possible victory choices that we did not see in Civilization 5. So let's go ahead and get the video started. Here we go.
Christina leads Sweden in Civilization 6 Gathering Storm.
All right, first off, that look on her face as she's turning her page is just kind of hilarious to me. She's like, who are you and why are you bothering me? And then also her hair is very, very fluffy looking. I think they did a really good job art-wise on her hair. It looks very nice. So good job, art team.
She became Queen of Sweden at the age of 6 and is remembered for her intelligence, strong will, and her interest in the arts and sciences. Sweden's unique ability is Nobel Prize.
All right, so the unique ability is Nobel Prize. So let's see here. Obviously, it's something that's voted on in the World Congress. Makes sense. Let's see. When time runs out, members will be rewarded based on their scores. Only the member with the highest score will receive +1 great musician and +1 great scientist. Wow. Members with the top 25% of score will receive 1 great engineer and 1 great artist. And then members with the next 25% of scores will receive a great artist. Now, is that an actual great artist and a great musician, or is that just points towards those? Surely it's just points towards those, right? But it doesn't say. It actually does not specify that it is points. It just says a great musician and a great scientist. Seems a bit excessive if it's actually a great leader, but I guess it's only a couple times throughout the game. So it's a possibility. But either way, even if it's points or if it's the actual unit itself, you're going to be able to get more of that unit, one way or the other. If it's the full unit, cool, you got the unit. If it's more points, then you'll be able to get more of those units as well. So it's still a way to get more great people one way or the other. It's something that you can vote on with favor and things like that. So obviously passing this is probably something that will just happen because I'm sure a lot of the other civilizations will want this. And then you have the task of actually generating the diplomatic favor to win it, to actually complete it. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. Obviously, with different civilizations in the game, some civilizations will have easier time generating favor, Canada, for instance, than others. So we'll have to see how this plays into the game itself, because we actually don't know a whole lot about the favor generation. We've seen bits and pieces, but we'll have to see how it actually plays in once we get in there. Obviously, I know some of the ways that you generate favor is completing emergencies and things like that. So
when Sweden is present in a game, all civilizations can engage in 3 Nobel Prize competitions in the World Congress.
All right, so Sweden just has to be present in the game for these Nobel Prize things to come up. So you don't even have to be playing as them to be able to have the benefit of these Nobel Prize competitions, if you will. So that's kind of a cool deal. It means that if you wanted to take advantage of this and be able to have this as an option, just stick Sweden in as one of your AI opponents if you didn't want to play as them themselves, and then kind of see if you can win it through whatever other country you're decided to play as. So that's kind of an interesting deal. That it affects everybody. It's not a lot of bonuses that civilizations have that have the potential to affect all the other civilizations as well, like in a positive way. Obviously, there's some that affect them in a negative way. Hey, I can go and beat you up now with better units and stuff like that. But from a positive standpoint, this is one of those unique ones that affects everybody kind of equally in that sense. So it's kind of cool.
Sweden also receives additional points towards great scientists or great engineers from universities and factories, and gains favor when they earn a great person.
All right, so more great points for scientists and engineers. That seems to go with this theme that they have of getting a lot of great people. And then, of course, getting favor from great people as well. So if you're going to go for the Nobel Prize, just get a bunch of great people, and that'll help get you some of that favor that way as well. So that's a pretty good kind of combined, what I'm trying to say, cohesion there, if you will, where the one helps the other. So that's pretty cool.
Their unique improvement is the Open Air Museum. They may only build 1 per city, and it provides loyalty. It also provides culture and tourism for each different terrain type on which a Swedish city has been settled.
All right, so getting loyalty already is a pretty big deal. So obviously a lot of cities loyalty is the thing that they introduced in Rise and Fall. That really makes a huge difference with where you can settle, how you can settle, how big your cities need to be able to maintain loyalty and things like that. So getting a little extra loyalty from these things is going to be helpful. Obviously, positive loyalty never hurts. But also the benefit of having extra culture and tourism based on how many land places that you settle on, which, if I'm thinking of, like, there's grassland, there's plains, desert, tundra, and I guess snow. Am I missing one? I think those are the only 5. I don't think it differentiates between grassland hills and then just plain, regular flat grasslands. I think those are the same. I think grassland is grassland. So that's 5 different ones. So you can get up to a total of 10 tourism and 10 culture for each of those open air museums, wherever they are. So that's kind of a it's a good benefit. Obviously, you only need 1 city of each of those different types, because obviously setting a city on the snow is not going to be great. She doesn't have, from what I can tell, any bonuses to snow, tundra, or desert like Mali or Canada does. So settling a city on those, you're only doing that to benefit the other cities, and of course that city's unique improvements, so that you can get that extra tourism and extra culture. The city itself that's on those tiles is just not going to be that great of a city in the end. So most of your cities are probably going to be on the better tiles, like the plains and the grasslands. But settling at least one of each of those other 3, those kind of maybe weaker cities, does seem to be a critical thing. But kind of, like I said, you only need 1 of them. So that's going to be, I guess, kind of the balance there, if you will.
Sweden's unique unit is the Carolean. This anti-cavalry unit is unlocked at the Renaissance era. It receives additional strength for unused movement points and is faster than similar units.
All right, so the Carolean we've seen before. We saw this in Civilization 5, so they're bringing it back. Obviously, this is a big, kind of a mainstay unit for the Swedish civilization as a whole. This is a different take on it. The one in Civilization 5, I think, just got March, which is increased movement or moving on something. I forget exactly how March worked. But in this case, you get increased combat strength for movement that's available. And this guy right here had 3 movement left when he attacked, and he had 9 strength. So I'm assuming that means 3 strength per movement that's left. So that kind of add up. Obviously, if you're staying in one spot and somebody comes to attack you, well, then you're going to almost always have those 3 movement banked up, ready to go. If you're on the offensive and attacking, a lot of times you may want to just move once and then be able to attack with those remaining 2 or something to that effect. So that's it's an interesting balance of things. It's going to be a good unit, I think. Anti-cavalry, though, I mean, there's a lot of civilizations that do have cavalry unique units that this will be able to combat against, but anti-cavalry as a whole, I mean, obviously it's weak against other melee type units, which, there's going to be a lot of those infantry and musketmen and things like that around this time. You kind of tail end of musketmen, starting to get into infantry towards the end of it. So it's going to be interesting to see where this fits in the world as far as overall strength. But I think with that extra movement bonus, it's going to be able to stand its own against some of those other units. So it's a good unit, and I think it fits the theme pretty well.
Christina's unique ability is Minerva of the North.
All right, so we have Minerva of the North here. It's Buildings and Wonders with at least 2 great work slots are automatically themed when they have all of their slots filled. That's a pretty big deal. It can be kind of difficult to theme your buildings and your wonders sometimes, because if you don't get the right great works, or the right antiquities, or whatever that particular building or wonder it is at the time, or if you can't trade with somebody or things like that, it can be kind of a challenge to get them themed. Hers are automatically themed. She doesn't care what they are. Just throw whatever you can into there, and you're going to get the automatic theming bonus. That adds up to a lot of extra culture and a lot of extra tourism with very minimal effort. So that's a huge positive for her, for sure. And then she may construct the Queen's Bibliothèque in the government plaza. And the Queen's Bibliothèque down here, we see a little bit further down, it's a building unique to Sweden. This building provides +2 slots of writing, music, and any type of art. So 2 slots of each of those. So that's 6 slots for great works. Obviously, she's going to be getting a lot of great people. That is her thing. Getting a lot of great people of different types. But going on the culture and tourism victory side of things, she's going to have plenty of slots to put those works of writing and art, music and art and stuff like that. So that's a pretty big deal. And that's a good deal. And of course, this also rewards 1 governor title. It doesn't say that it replaces any buildings. So I'm guessing this is just an extra government building that she gets that nobody else gets. So maybe she gets a total of 4, or maybe they're adding more in the later eras. I don't know exactly how that's all going to work. I know they're going to add some more eras. I don't think there's going to be any more government buildings beyond the three that we know of, the three eras that we know of. But so this is going to be interesting to, get an extra governor title plus all those extra works. What else we got here? Anything else that we haven't touched on? Of course, the Carolean here. We already talked about the +3 combat strength per unused movement, so that's a pretty big deal. The open air museum, +2 loyalty per turn, so not a ton of loyalty, but enough. It's going to make some difference. It's going to help a little bit. +2 culture and +2 tourism for each type of terrain: snow, tundra, desert, plains, or grassland. So yeah, one of each of those. So it's a total of +10 that you can get, in which at least one Swedish city is founded, one per city. Tiles with open air museums cannot be swapped. Oh, okay, I get it. I was like, what does that mean? I guess that means that once you build an open air museum, you can't swap it to another city. That makes sense. I mean, I don't know why you would do that. I mean, I guess they had to put that in, but it feels like one of those obvious things that you shouldn't be able to do anyway. And then over here, I skipped the Nobel Prize. Sweden gains 50 diplomatic favor when earning a great person. So that's a pretty good chunk. Sweden received +1 great engineer point from factories and +1 great scientist point from universities. So not a ton, but it's going to add up over time. Having Sweden in the game adds 3 unique World Congress competitions in the industrial era. So again, having those extra competitions, that's going to help everybody. Obviously, if you want to win those as Sweden, because you're the one that put them in the game. That's the whole point. But it does have the unique opportunity to help your allies or your enemies even as well, which is kind of, I guess, the one negative that Sweden has is that one of her bonuses could help the people you're playing against.
Buildings with at least 3 great work slots and wonders with at least 2 great work slots are automatically themed when they have all their slots filled. Also, she can construct the Queen's Bibliothek in the Government Plaza, granting additional slots for great works. The key to unlocking Sweden's cultural power is settling cities across all terrain types and filling them with open-air museums. Be sure to attract as many great artists, musicians, and writers as you can, and you'll be set for a culture victory. Sweden is also a strong contender in the diplomatic game, and each great person will give them another edge in the World Congress. Will your legacy be recorded by painter and poet? How will you lead Sweden in Sid Meier's Civilization VI: Gathering Storm?
All right, so obviously this civilization has 2 main victories that they're going to be going for. They're going to be going for either the diplomatic victory, or they're going to be going for a tourism victory. Those are the 2 main ones. Really, conquest, not really in the works that much. You're not really going to be storming the entire map with your Caroleans, I don't think. I'm not saying you couldn't do some conquest, because I think every civilization is capable of some conquest. Religion, there's just nothing here for religion. There's no reason to go for religion with her. In fact, she might be one of those ones that if you were to go look at the AI kind of points that they have, they might not even go for religion if they're on the AI side of things. As far as science, she could potentially go for science because she is going to get some great engineers and great scientist points that way. And so you could use those great scientists, especially some of the late ones, as well as the great engineers to kind of rush out some good tech and kind of push towards the space victory. So I think science is at least a in the mix. It's not necessarily something that she has a direct strength towards, but kind of a side effect of all the great people that she's going to be able to get. She could push for a science victory, I think, very easily. But I think her main 2 are very obviously the diplomatic or the tourism. Diplomatic, she's going to be competing against, obviously Canada and people like that that actually are going to be very well set up for this. So I think if I were to rank them, I think tourism might be number 1 for her, but it's very close. Honestly, I'd have to really get into the game to see how the feel of getting all that favor from those great people really kind of compares to the other civilizations and their favor and things like that. So right now I'm kind of trending towards, tourism being her number 1 victory type to go for, but I honestly, they may be interchangeable once you actually get into the game. Getting all of those great works and getting them automatically themed, that is a pretty big deal. Because again, it is kind of hard to get things themed sometimes. A lot of times, like the great artist ones, you want a great piece of art of the same type from different artists, if I remember correctly. So that's sometimes hard to do because one great artist is going to give you like 3, landscape paintings or something like that. Okay, that doesn't help you. You need 3 different great artists with the exact same type to be able to swap those around to get those points and stuff like that. So it's really going to be very helpful for her to just not worry about that. Just get a great artist, drop all 3 of their great works into the same spot, or get a great writer, drop both of theirs into a wonder or something like that. You're done. You don't have to think about it. So that, do not underestimate the power that that's going to have. That's going to give you a huge boost in your tourism. Plus, obviously, the open air museum getting up to 10. You will want to settle a tundra, snow, and desert city. I mean, that is a must. You've got to get it done, which may be easier said than done sometimes, because if you settle in a place, I can see her settling in a place that may be near some tundra and snow, but is she going to be near desert? I don't know. So she may have to kind of put an off-the-wall city somewhere, which may have some loyalty issues. So she might not actually be able to always get that +5, those 5 different cities every game. You may have a little bit of a struggle with, 1 or 2 of those. So, but any of those that you get are going to give you that extra tourism and extra culture, which is going to obviously help you out. So I think she's going to be a strong civilization for what she's good at. But she may not be the best all-around civilization, like with some of the other ones that we've seen. So it's going to be interesting to play as. And if you like tourism, or if you want to try out the new diplomatic victory, she may be the civilization to go with. So I do appreciate you watching. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like this video if you like these and want to see more of these. And obviously, please subscribe if you're enjoying these at all, because I'm going to try and keep these going. And then once the actual game comes out, I'll try to get into some more deep dives on some of the civilizations and stuff like that. So again, thank you very much, and I do appreciate it. Goodbye.